To see everybody. Would love for you to turn your cameras on if you're comfortable. You can stay muted if you have loud kids or dogs. And I know it's dinner hour, so you probably all have a lot of stuff going on at home. I'm so pleased that we're able to connect with you and talk about our amazing strings and band program. It really provides an opportunity for students to explore a different side of their academic and school experience. And it's just all very well attended and really great program at Cranbury. So Mr. Rojas and Mrs. Lemak are going to speak to you tonight about what we offer, and we look forward to sharing this with you. So take it away. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dr. Basson. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, let's go ahead. No worries. We're just going to share our screen with you all in a moment because we have a little presentation for us all to look at. Okay. Let's see if it goes through. Is it sharing?
I'm going to sharing right now.
Okay.
And we are up.
Perfect. Let's see if it comes up. Awesome. All right. So give me one moment here as well too, so we can see all of you as well. One moment here. That's okay. Oh, view options.
Got everybody?
I think so. All right, perfect. There we go. Now we can see here. We can see all of you as well too as we're talking. Okay. So hi everyone. I'm Mr. Rojas.
And I'm Mrs. Lemak.
And we're here to welcome you to our first ever instrument night. Our goal of this whole entire meeting is to kind of explain what both programs have to offer. We have a whole entire agenda that we're going to get to as well to explain what we're going to be talking about as a whole. Okay.
All right, here we go. I'm hoping that you can see. We are going to get going. Sorry, making sure there's nobody else in the waiting room. And there are, and here we go.
All right. Hi, everyone. It's coming in just now. All right.
All right, here's our agenda and what we're going to cover this evening. First of all, we're going to introduce ourselves on the next slide. You're going to learn a little bit about us. We're going to talk about the lessons and how they're structured for each of our programs. I'm going to talk about the strings program, and Mr. Rojas is going to talk about the band program. We're going to answer your questions on are the students able to participate in both band and strings?
We're going to also then talk about how to sign up. We have different ways that we're going to sign up. We have a QR code we're going to give you. There's a website, Google form that you can fill out. We're going to also send home some papers for your students, for your children to fill out as well too. We're going to talk about the cost of renting an instrument and why maybe you don't want to buy instead. And we're going to talk as well about starting dates for the band as well as the strings. And then if you have any questions, we're not going to really do a Q&A just for time's sake, but we are going to allow you guys to email us, please, if you have any questions. We'll do our best to get back to you all as soon as possible. Okay, so without further ado, here we go.
Oh, sorry, I will go back.
The arrow.
Oh, all right, here we go. I'm going to introduce myself. I am Mrs. Lemak, and this is my 20th year teaching, my 16th year teaching in Norwalk. I have 3 children of my own, 11-year-old, almost 2-year-old, and an almost 4-year-old. I've lived in one city my entire life. I even went to college there. Kind of interesting. I love Disney World, everything Disney, big Disney nerd, big Disney fanatic here. So I also love Lassie Taffy. The grape ones are my favorite, and Sour Patch Kids. And my favorite color is green.
So I'm Mr. Rojas. This is my 7th year of teaching, my 4th year here in Norwalk. I also help teach the Norwalk High Marching Band. I help out the woodwind section. So some of your students or some of your children may have seen me before in the high school or have siblings in the high school marching band. I was born and raised here in Norwalk, and I've actually gone through the whole entire Norwalk public school system as well myself. So I'm a product of it, which is nice. I have 2 fur babies, as I call them, 1 cat named Nugget and 1 dog named Tico, as you see in the bottom there. And I play saxophone and keyboard in 2 different bands, an 80s rock and hair metal cover band, and then also an alternative punk rock band as well too.
All right, here we're going to talk about lessons. Each one of us have different days that we are here. This way we don't clash. We share the same teaching space. We teach on the stage. That's why there's a wall up between the gym and the stage. Lessons for strings are on B or D days. It's one or the other. They run 40 minutes in length. This way we have enough time to get our students, get our tuned, give our lesson and pack up and get back to class. So the goal is that they only miss 40 minutes of class. It's not 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after for 50, no. We pick them up when it starts, we drop them off by the time the 40 minutes is over. So it's really only 40 minutes they are gonna miss of instruction. There is an orchestra time, and that is when the entire group would meet together as a whole, like the third grade and as we get closer for a concert, they would meet all together and practice their pieces. Fourth and fifth grade will also do the same thing before we have a concert as well. It is built into the schedule. They are required for every lesson to have their instrument, their lesson book, and either a shoulder rest or a rock stop, depending on what instrument they play. Now, they are pulled out during the school day. They are not pulled out during specials, lunch, recess, or WIN. They are pulled out during some core classes. We try to ensure that it's not the first bit of information, the first 20 minutes. We try our best because that's when the most instruction is given. We try to not pull from that time the best we can. We're also working around GT and speech and OT and PT. So there's a lot of other moving parts that we're working with. All the missed homework that they miss from missed classwork, I should say, is to be done for homework.
Okay, very similar stuff for the band as well. Our lesson days are on A and C days. So every time it's an A and C day, I'm always here. Ms. Lemek is not going to be here. So similar to the strings, our lessons also run about 35 to 40 minutes. I say 35 because some of the lesson groups, in order to get more lessons throughout the day, I had to cut some lesson time shorter. Don't worry though, we're still getting the same amount of instructional time as everyone else does too. We're gonna meet as a whole band in the spring when we prepare for concerts. So during the school year, we're gonna be actually doing just lessons in person. So it'll be small group lessons, usually between 4 to 8 children within a classroom. So I try my best to give everyone some instructional, individualized instruction through the beginning of the year. So that way they learn how their instrument, how to put together, how to play. That way I can also focus on helping them out as well too, to become progress better with the instruments. Similar to strings, our lessons are also happening during the day. Students are pulled out of the regular class. So again, any missed work needs to be done as well for homework. Same thing, students aren't pulled from lunch, specials, recess, or WIN. Same thing too for any interventionists as well too. We try our best to work around any special services that may be done for students. We try our best to make sure we accommodate that as well too. And then for us as well, for every lesson, you're required to bring your instrument. You're required to bring your lesson book and music folder. The good thing about the folders that we give you actually is they can fit your book in them as well. So that way we have the folders because we will be handing out loose sheet music whenever we start doing concert season stuff. And then instrument specific materials, we'll get into more details about that, but for certain instruments, you have to worry about reeds, valve oil, cork grease, neck straps, drumsticks, a lot of those little like small nuanced things that every instrument has for themselves.
All right, now here's all about the strings program. Strings is offered to grades 3, 4, and 5. The instruments offered are violin, viola, cello, and bass. In the picture that I am sharing with you, it does show the size difference between them. Anyone can play a string instrument. That is the uniqueness of the strings program. They vary in sizes. They use a lot of fractions, I should say, eighth size, quarter size, half, 3/4. Our violas are the special ones. They use the inches, 11 inch, 12 inch, 13 inch, and then they go all the way up to 17.5 inch, 18 inch. It's crazy. But most students do learn on a 12-inch viola. Most violin students learn on a half size. 4th and 5th grade students move up through 3/4 and a full size. And same for cellos. Cellos are usually quarter size to half, and basses are actually 8th size because the bass can be quite tall and cumbersome. So the one part that is rented is going to be the instrument. The couple of parts that you're going to buy is the lesson book, and then a rock stop if it's a cello or bass, and then a shoulder rest if it is a violin or viola. Now, can students in 4th or 5th grade start strings? If they did not do it in 3rd grade, yes, they can do it in 4th grade. If they didn't do it in 3rd grade or 4th grade and they want to start in 5th grade, they can. I just had a friend sign up yesterday in 5th grade who wants to start it this year. They are put into a 4th and 5th grade beginner class, and that class, the goal of it is to get them to the point where they can join those students who have been learning over the past year or two.
All right, my turn with the band. So same kind of information as well, similar to the strings program. The only thing though is that the band program is only offered to 4th and 5th grade. So unfortunately, 3rd grade students, you have to wait one more year. Okay. The students who didn't join though in 4th grade and maybe don't want to join in 5th grade, they can totally join in 5th grade as well too. So if you decided that you don't want to join in 4th grade, but maybe you did want to join in 5th grade, then afterwards we will gladly take you in. Same thing as well. We'll put you in a more of a beginner class, probably with other 4th graders as well too, or other 5th graders that are also starting in that year as well. Okay. The instruments that we have offered, I'm going to use this Limax computer here to kind of point to them. If I can get to where's your mouse? Oh, it's not working. That's okay. All right, no worries. So the instruments that we have offered are flute. They kind of go in order based on the photo there. Flute, clarinet. We have alto saxophone, trumpet, French horn, trombone, baritone horn, and percussion. Now for percussion, we mainly focus on teaching the bells, the mallet instruments, which is the xylophone that you see up there. And then we focus as well on teaching battery percussion. So that's your snare drum, your bass drum. I'm trying my best to work on possibly getting a drum set soon, because I know a lot of kids are always excited about wanting to do drum set. But for the moment right now, we're just mainly focusing on snare drum, bass drum, other instruments as well too with the percussion, such as like triangle, other cymbals, and then as well as the xylophone for that. What you rent is, again, your instrument. There are certain instruments that the school does have that we'll talk about as well too with what we can do for the rental process. What needs to be bought, everyone needs to buy their lesson book. And if you see there on that photo, you'll see that that book right there is called Sound Innovations. Now don't buy it just yet, because we have to first make sure which instrument your child's gonna play. And we're gonna talk about that as well too a bit more. The lesson book though is called Sound Innovations. It's that blue book right there. It's the first book of the series. If you play a saxophone or clarinet, you'll need to purchase reeds, and I'll give you more information as well about what kind of reed to purchase, what size of reed. I absolutely like that brand right there, Rico reeds. They tend to be very durable and they work well. And then the other thing as well for saxophones and clarinets is cork grease. It's that little tube that looks like chapstick almost. It's used for the corks on the instrument so that they can actually be placed together easily without ripping the cork. And then finally, as well, if you play any brass instruments, that's trumpet, trombone, baritone, French horn, you'll need valve oil, which is that little oil bottle right there. That's used so that way the valves on the trumpets or on the brass instruments can move freely. Okay, and that's pretty much it for that.
All right, moving right along. Can my child participate in both strings and band? Well, the answer is yes. This is for grades 4 and 5. Now, what are the expectations of taking this on? Well, we want them to keep up with practicing both instruments at home. It's not something they are going to do just in school during their lesson and then it's going home into the closet. We want them to keep up with their missed classwork. Teachers are very vocal in keeping up with this, and they explain to us if the student has not been keeping up with what they need to. They need to maintain satisfactory grades. We don't want them to be struggling in a subject because they are missing that part of the subject to come to a lesson. That's not fair to them at all. As much as we love to have a lot of children, a lot of students in our programs, they're not here. They don't come to school just for us. Their academics are more important than us.
So yeah, another thing too as well we're talking about is, when do we think it's not a good idea maybe to do both? So if your child is already being pulled out for other services such as OT, PT, speech, MLL, or any reading or math interventions, anything like that, it might not be a good idea then to pull them out, because then at that point they're gonna be pulled out of two different times. Maybe they might be pulled out maybe during a core time with math or a core time with reading. So if they're being pulled out at the same time, if it's every other day, that can affect their instructional routine, we feel like. Another thing too as well is if your child is already participating in multiple activities after school, so such as like sports or gymnastic, other things as well that they may be doing, clubs, that can also be hard for them to have the time then to go home and practice. So, and to practice two instruments as well will be another difficult thing to probably manage. So that's why we kind of recommend that way we don't do that. And the last thing too as well, like I said before, is just your student will be pulled more from their classroom, and so that means they're going to get less instruction that they're receiving. So there's just kind of double the work that we're going to have to keep up for that student. But so again, we don't want to discourage any parents or any students from wanting to do both, because we want to definitely have as many students as we can that want to be part of the arts. We just want to make sure though that they are being a well-rounded student with everything besides just music as well.
That's ultimately your decision. So if you do have a question though, and you're not quite sure, please feel free to reach out to us, or even reach out to your child's teacher. They, even though we're only in the few weeks of school, they will be able to provide input in how your child is doing, and if they feel that they would be able to handle it. Here we're going to just talk about the cost of renting an instrument. These are just estimated cost of renting. They're approximate, and the prices we give you are not, it's not going to be $50 more a month than what we're saying. It's going to be roundabout. Violin and violas run between $20 to $25. You can see a cello runs a little bit more, from $35 to $40 a month. These normally come with insurance plans built in, and that is important because they are children. And well, they're not always careful. A double bass is the most expensive to rent. And another thing about the double bass is it's the only instrument that cannot go on a school bus. So if your child takes a bus to school and home from school, they cannot do the double bass. It just does not fit up the stairs or down the aisle, and it's become a district policy. Only violin, viola, and cellos are allowed on the bus. So just so you are aware of that.
So similar as well too for the band instruments, flutes, clarinets, cost around $20 a month. Again, these are just estimates. I recommend that you call a bunch of music stores around the area. Some that we know of off the top of our heads: AAA Band Rentals, Giuliano's in near Westford Avenue, Rental Instrument LLC as well down the street, Crescendo Music. There's a bunch of ones. We're gonna give you a whole list of the music stores that we recommend, as well as ones that are just around the area and stuff. But definitely we recommend that you look around, you compare prices, whatever helps you helps you out as well too, if you need to find a more affordable option. Alto saxophones about $35 to $40 a month. Trumpets and trombones, similar, $20 a month. And the bell kits are $20 a month as well. The bell kits, they're kind of like a little suitcase that have they have a set of bells in them, the drum pad as well, and you're gonna have sticks as well as hardware to put these together. So again, if your child wants to play percussion, I'll be giving you a whole list of what it looks like and stuff like that as well too. Now for baritones and French horns, they are a little more expensive to rent in stores, but thankfully we do have a couple here in the school for use. For baritone though, it's kind of different. I have 4 baritones that I have here, but that means that only 2 students can play them at a time. And the reason why is because they're a very heavy instrument to bring back and forth. So I give one to the students to take home, to keep at home, so they can practice it while they're there, and then they have one here at the school to play with. So if your child decides to play baritone, I recommend then that maybe one day we set up a time for you to come pick up the instrument, because I think it's pretty hard for it to get on the bus, similar like the bass is. So we can set up a time for you to pick up the instrument. You keep that one at home, that way they can practice the instrument there. For French horn, you don't have to worry about that. Those are pretty easy. They can go on the bus as well too. I do have 2 French horns that I can give out for students as well to rent. Okay.
There are also a limited amount of other instruments, band instruments, as well as string instruments that are available for those who might not be able to afford to rent for whatever reason. We do have some available You will just need to contact us once your child has been accepted into the program, and we can get that ball rolling. The only thing that comes with that is there is no insurance policy. So if your child does break some part of that instrument, you then have to pay to get that fixed. It's not done through the school. If it's something as simple as a string or a bridge, something that I can handle with the string instruments, yes. If the neck of the instrument completely snaps off, I cannot fix that at all. That has to go to a music store. It's the same thing for the band instruments. You know, the cork comes completely off, has to go back to the music store. You know, they bend the key system. That would just be a cost to you. Otherwise, they are available for use. We have bought some over the past few years, so that would be a really great thing to be able to give them out to those students who need them.
Yeah, I really do. Just to kind of touch a little more about the instruments as well, rentals. Please do try your best to look at these stores because they are giving really great deals and stuff. You know, please let those instruments go to students or families that really do need that help. So that's why I really try my best to kind of give that to students that do need the help. And it is a first come, first served basis as well too. So once those instruments are gone, unfortunately, I don't have any more to really give out at that point. Okay.
All right.
Oh, it's our favorite time
This
to
is
talk
our
about
favorite
this.
time. We do not want you to go and buy an instrument, but we know that we all love to save money where we can. You want to go to Walmart, Amazon, eBay, and see what they have. But $100 violin, and it's pink, and my kid loves pink. It's a great deal. I just cannot pass up, and I don't have to spend as much as a rental. But wait, it comes with the bridge and the strings and the bag and must be put together. That is so very true. The instrument is not usable until it is put together. Now, it does come as a whole, but then the sound quality of that is that of a tin can. I am not over exaggerating. It is the true honesty of them. They are not created in quality situations. They are created in quantity. So the more they can get out, the less quality they are.
And to just kind of jump in here too as well, the thing too, especially with these instruments, especially the band ones that I've seen on Amazon, they actually, if you want to see it, I have a video I can always send to anyone as well. Sometimes the instruments will come sounding incorrect. I had a couple years ago, I had a student buy a bell kit off of Amazon, and 2 of the notes on the actual bells didn't sound correct. They were wrong completely. And they had similar reviews as well on Amazon. And they do a great job of like making you want to buy it because it's like, oh, it comes with reeds, it comes with these gloves for some reason, it comes with a cleaning cloth and stuff like that, and it's all great. It's very, very enticing, but again, the quality of the instrument is not that unfortunate. So
yeah, and many times the string instruments come with just a blank bridge, and that has to be sanded and fitted, and I do not do that. So then you have to take it to the music store, and a lot of the local music stores don't want to touch these instruments because they know if they touch them the wrong way that they're just going to break. And we've seen it over and over. And I've had students with pink violins, and I've had students with purple violins, and they look great, but they don't sound great. So we really strongly advise against that. Another thing with the string instruments is your child is going to grow. String instruments are based on their arm length and their height. So they grow whatever time of year they happen to grow. My daughter grew like 3 inches this summer. I can't even with her. So as they grow, they need another size instrument. String instruments come in those sizes so we can accommodate, the growing child. But if you buy an instrument, then they grow, you're going to need to buy the next size. They can't be playing on an instrument that's not suited for their arm length or their height. They can't just deal with it for the year. It's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to get them into the wrong position.
Yeah. And then the last thing too, as well, that I really want to touch upon these instruments is that because the quality is so low, they do tend to break very easily. I know sometimes, like for saxophones especially, I've seen ones that have like plastic parts that are actually hard to replace because they cost more than actually what the instrument is worth. So sometimes, most of the time, what it would cost to fix the instrument would actually just total it. So that's why it's, if you are looking into buying, recommend we don't, just because for now it's gonna be a little more of an investment. Have them rent. And the thing too as well is maybe your child doesn't want to continue with band or strings. Now you have this expensive instrument that you kept for all these years, which could be nice to pass on to somebody else that maybe want it in the future. but it's, it's definitely an investment that you want to look into maybe in the future. If your child decides that they want to continue doing band or strings, maybe when they're in middle school and they want to keep going even through high school, then I would definitely recommend purchasing an instrument at that point, because you'll definitely have at least spent enough through rentals to buy an instrument.
Yes, and in the same respect, don't buy an instrument that's too big. Don't say, I'm going to buy a full-size violin, because they can grow into it. They can't, not if they're 4 foot tall. It's just going to be, they're not going to be able to reach. It's going to be a messy situation for them, and they're going to get frustrated, and it's honestly just not worth it.
All right, we're almost done with y'all, okay?
So our starting dates, the returning 4th and 5th graders that did it in 3rd grade and 4th grade, they have started this week. Our beginning students, we are going to start the week of October 3rd. So we're coming up on it.
And then similar for band, we're actually going to start next week. Exciting news though for our 4th grade members, or 4th graders in general. We're actually bringing the Norwalk High Marching Band here. Just some of the kids actually from the program to come and just demonstrate the instruments of the band for all of you. So during their special time on Monday, I'm pretty sure they'll be coming here to show off all the instruments and stuff and get the kids excited about being a part of the band as well. So for the returning members though, we're starting on the week of the 19th. So if I have any returning member or families here, just make sure please that you try to get your stuff before the 19th. The paper that I sent home has the information on there as to what you need to purchase still, like the books and stuff like that. Now, band interviews. Let me explain what this is here. So band interviews are similar like how when Ms. Lemak is going to have to size some of your students for the size of the instrument. Like to see if they need a quarter size or an 1/8 size, right? Same thing kind of for the instruments. Let's say little Johnny decides to play trombone, but he's a really small kind of guy, and his arms can't go that far. So maybe trombone might not be a good option, but let's look at his other choice. Maybe he wanted to play flute. Okay, so let's see how the flute looks for you. Oh, it looks a lot better. We could try that out instead. So let's go with flute. And then what I always do is I always recommend that students pick 2 options, because let's say the first year that they decide to play an instrument and it doesn't go that way. That way, then the second year, we can say, all right, well, your second choice was flute. So how about we try that one this year and see how that works? I can say that most of the time, I'd say 70% of the time, a student's second choice tends to be their last choice, because they're really good at picking that second choice, and it really works with them as well too. So that's what the band interviews will be. Is I'm going to conduct them. We're going to meet with the new members that moment that are interested, and then I'll be giving out information for all of you to read as far as what to do next, as far as renting, where to get your instruments, what supplies you need to get as well too, based on the instrument that they've been selected for. And then lessons for all members, for new members, will start as well on the week of October 3rd. This way you get a nice solid 2 weeks to get all your materials and stuff, okay?
If you have any questions about either program, or you just want some more information, do not hesitate to email us. My email is listed there. Mr. Rojas's email is listed there. And then we will be keeping in contact with you through Class Dojo. We will add your student to our Class Dojo classrooms as we welcome them into our programs. But you can always email us. You can always get through to us on Class Dojo, no problem. We will help you out in any way possible. I cannot promise you I will answer anything after 5 p.m. It's more of a circus at home right now with my little ones. I try. I will do my very best though to get back to you as soon as I can. If not, I will answer you the very next day.
So this is kind of like our ending right here. But before we go, this is actually how we would sign. How you guys can sign up as well too. What we're going to do is we're going to actually put these two QR codes on the chat. So if you would like to join as well, you can join through there. But you can also scan the QR code that you have there with your smartphone device or any device as well as a camera. You can use that. So in the chat though, I'm putting in right here, this is the strings sign up. So if you're interested in signing up, there's the strings. And then for band sign up, I will post that one as well too.
We will also tomorrow be sending home paper copies, which does go over every part of this. I will hand them out to every 3rd grader. All of the 3rd graders yesterday came to the stage and I demonstrated all the instruments and talked about them. And I know Miss Carson has done the same thing with them since they were in second grade. So many of them already knew a whole lot of information and they're super excited. As for fourth and fifth graders, I'll stop by the classrooms and I'll hand out any beginner sheets if they want to start in fourth or fifth grade. And I will also be passing out the band forms for them as well. We will probably hand them out to every student just to make sure everybody gets that home and has that ability to sign up, right?
Sure, yeah. We do have one question in the chat. Like we said before too, please do email us if you have any questions, but I'll answer that question quickly though for Nicole. Yes, your child can definitely do both strings and band. We just recommend that you talk with their teacher first about it to see if it's okay with their teacher, because if they're being pulled out already for too many services, that might not be a good idea for them to be pulled out even more for both band and strings since they happen on 2 different days.
And we are recording this and we will have Dr. Masson send this out so you can watch it and go through the PowerPoint that we just shared with you. I believe that's the last page of it.
I think so, yeah, too. All right.
I don't know how to unshare.
Yes, fifth graders have band on A and C days. Yes, Daniela, they do. Of course, anytime. And whenever you're all set, you guys can go ahead and go. Thank you again so much.
Thank you so much
for being here. And this is our first time doing this.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get some good feedback on how this went. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you guys for being with us. And we hope we answered all of your questions. And again, we'll send everything home tomorrow. If your kid's absent, don't worry, it'll be there for them. And if you don't get anything tomorrow, please email us or email your kid's teacher and we'll make sure we get it to you on Monday.
We also both are on Class Dojo. So if once we actually have our ensembles set up, we'll create a Class Dojo class for all of us to communicate as well through there. If for some reason email doesn't work, because sometimes I know we get 100 emails from everything besides the district.
Well, being at two schools doesn't help.
So I mean,
it's
tough. But
thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody.